Can you feel that? It's not just the searing heat of summer. It is time for the June recap. This has been an interesting month for gaming and the internet in general. We had some great game announcements as well as some very questionable decisions from a couple of internet platforms. Almost as if billionaires were doing some weird bet on who can kill their platform first. Also, I am sorry the recap is coming a week late, which is also why it is shorter this time around. Instead of the top 10 news of the past month, we will keep it short and sweet because of the timeline. Only a top 5 from June, so strap in. Remember, these news are what I personally consider relevant, but if there is anything you'd like me to cover for next month's recap, feel free to send it over my way on Twitter at Asterion_. And with all that said, these are the headlines. Twitch's new ad rules will hurt streamers, charities, and brands. In the beginning of June, Twitch introduced new rules governing how ads could be run on the site. The proposed new rules affect what it's calling pre-burned-in ads, describing them as pre-recorded ads or commercials that are embedded directly into the stream. Starting July 1st, Twitch will no longer allow streamers to feature third-party display, video, or audio ads. So, for example, streamers sponsored by, let's say, Red Bull would not have been allowed to display a logo on their overlay if it takes up more than 3% of the screen size. Play a quick Red Bull video ad or audio. Think about it as radio, maybe. After a lot of confusion and some big streamers like XQC signing contracts with other platforms for millions of dollars, Twitch decided to walk back their proposed guidelines on June 7th, citing how they recognized they were bad for everyone and Twitch. As I said before, we had a strange month of platforms trying to self-destruct through weird changes in how they operate. Yes, looking at you, Reddit and Twitter. Fortunately, Twitch did walk back the new rules. They are already considered a bad choice to stream on in terms of monetization, and this would have just been a little too far. I guess we could probably blame one jealous and greedy executive who was not happy streamers on their platform were making money through it. What's happening with Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard? Something that is becoming a staple of our monthly recaps. The updates on what is going on with Microsoft's attempt to buy ActiBliz. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority has determined to block the acquisition, as well as the US Federal Trade Commission by suing with an injunction. But unlike the CMA, the FTC might not be able to stop Microsoft from completing the transaction. But unlike these two, the EU has approved the deal, saying it will improve cloud gaming. A completely opposite view to the UK, who says the deal will harm cloud gaming. The next major update will come with a federal hearing on whether the deal should be blocked while the FTC conducts its case against it. South Korea leaks the existence of Quake 2 Remastered a mere 2 years after it leaked the existence of Quake 1 Remastered. The South Korean Rating and Administration Committee, GRAC, has gone and rated Quake 2 Remastered, ahead of it even being announced. What is funny here is that it's not the only time it has done it. They did the exact same thing with Quake Remastered. Many on the internet are starting to think that maybe game companies should perhaps coordinate their announcements around South Korea's rating schedule, because the GRAC clearly doesn't care. They've done this to other games like League of Legends, Silent Hill, and as I mentioned before, the remaster of the first Quake. So perhaps we should keep an eye on the GRAC. Maybe they'll give us the announcement of the next unannounced StarCraft game. Shooter Dev threatens to ban anyone for sharing game secrets. Recently, a developer behind Escape from Tarkov has threatened to ban anyone who data mines or even shares data mined content from the game. The threats haven't gone over well with fans, who often find the game a bit too cryptic for comfort and thus rely on data mined content to learn about stat changes and other essential information. Battlestate Games didn't waste any time banning, turning its attention to a popular Tarkov streamer and creator of TarkovChanges.com, Logical Solution. He had his account banned live on stream due to the sharing of game information policies. Fortunately, the ban was reversed the next day. On one hand, I can understand that not spoiling the contents of the game can be key on how a player experiences the game. For example, I like data mining for games like WoW because I can know what is coming ahead of time. But then once a patch is hit, there is no sense of novelty. because I knew for weeks or even months in advance exactly what was going to come, so I can see how it can dampen the experience. But in this particular case, from what I read from the Tarkov community, is that the game is just too vague about everything, and if it weren't for data mining, a game as punishing as this would be impossible to play. I'd like to issue a trigger warning for this next bit of news, so if you want, you can skip to the end. Video games and TikTok are to blame for French riots, says the president. French President Emmanuel Macron has a few theories as to why riots have spread across France in the wake of the fatal police shooting of a 17-year-old delivery driver. TikTok, Snapchat, and video games mostly. I guess he missed the part where policemen fatally shot a 17-year-old. Yeah, that probably has nothing to do with it. The president went over to say how social media was fueling unrest and collective anger, and that he wants to work with tech companies to remove sensitive content like this in the future. But he didn't stop there. Oh no. He also decided to use a classic politician argument. Video games are to blame, saying that video games have intoxicated them, whatever that means. As you, dear listener, are probably aware, but I feel the need to remind, no, video games are not to blame. It has been disproven time and time again. I do not consider myself qualified to do an in-depth analysis regarding how social and economic factors are what actually drive people, and it would also take us a little bit off topic. So, for now, I am looking forward to see if younger politicians will continue to follow this tradition of groundlessly blaming games to not actually acknowledge real issues, such as gun control. And with this, the June recap comes to an end. Again, sorry for the late video. Hopefully everything can go back to normal for the next recap. I will be back at the end of July to update you on the comings and goings in gaming. If there are stories you think I should cover next month, reach out to me on Twitter. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It motivates me to continue making more videos. Let me know what you think. Will video games destroy the universe? Will Twitter and Reddit stop trying to see who dies off first? Probably not. Feel free to comment down below. I'd like to know what you think. I am Asterion, and I will see you on the next video.